What's up, desktop bodybuilding fans? I'm joined by Brett, Wilkin, Martin Fitzwater, and also Nathan De Asha for the fourth or fifth episode. I don't know what it is because we've done a bunch of
why you
bonus
put the
episodes.
black person last, bro?
Mate, I almost put him
now,
first.
brother.
It's the way the
Fucking
screen's
hell.
laid out.
What?
But we're calling the new show Bodybuilding University just because it basically looks cool, it's easy to remember, and it's got bodybuilding in the title, so that should help as well with that search engine optimization and stuff like that. But guys, I've seen obviously a fair bit's coming out, and I want to first, before we get into your guest posing, Brett, and discuss that, I wanted to apologize to Martin as well, because I actually exposed some of your physique updates on my video on YouTube accidentally, because I thought it was actually a public story and you just basically sent it to your close friends, which I'm privileged to be a part of, but I actually shared that out in one of my YouTube videos. So I wanted to give a public apology to you, man, because I've obviously seen this happen before where people have leaked out photos accidentally. This was obviously totally accidental, and man, I felt so bad as soon as I saw that in the group chat. I was like, oh shit.
No, you're good, man. I mean, I'm not like super hiding away anyway, so it's not like a big deal. But just kind of keeping things to my closest people, and then leaking stuff slowly. So it's not a huge deal. I just had to give you shit about it. But now you know that you're in the close friends group and you can't be doing that. So
I'll keep an eye out, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gas was posting you a bunch today though too, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, is I'm not like completely hiding. I'm just not like posting consistently or doing like the Hunter Labrada check-in every week and tell you what I'm eating like I have done in the past, because I did that when I won my pro card. I don't know, Brett and I did that for like 20 weeks straight, where I put my diet down and everything, every check-in picture, every pose, all that stuff. Now I'm just kind of doing a lot less of that and just kind of leaking stuff out whenever. Today, they, like Brett said, we trained at Metroflex and I posed and everything, and they took some videos and stuff, but I'm flat as shit. So if anyone wants to gauge what I look like off of that, then that's awesome. I'll take that all day long.
Man, you look outrageous, honestly. In those updates, I saw it pop up. I was like, holy crap. That's why I was like, I need to put this in my YouTube video because you look so good, man. So I'm very excited to see how you look in, 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks time?
Yeah, about 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. Awesome. Yeah, I cannot wait to see it, man.
Nathan, like you being the veteran of this group right here, with much more shows under your belt, what is your experience with that? Like, would you say, that's just something to like talk about in regards to, would you say with, did you have better preps where you were kind of posting more, like showing you, or more preps were better with you kind of hiding things and waiting to reveal everything?
I'm one of the people, but like, for me, I don't think hiding it means anything, you know what I mean? Regardless of the day, you've got to beat me on the day, so if I'm posing and the coach wants to post it. It look like a bag of shit. Remember, I think like last year, the year before, getting ready for the Arnold before the whole COVID, done like a 5-week diet, and was like, oh, I look like a bag of shit. And a week later, I look fucking good, So for me, if it posted, I post it. I don't really hide away or nothing. It's just, if it's there and I like the picture or my teeth look good, I'll just post the shit. As long as I look good, I don't really care. So for me, I think everyone's different, really. But I wear most of the time wear a vest anyway, so I think a lot of the time you can gauge, from how you're looking in the face and stuff. But I think everyone has their own little unique niche, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Brett,
Brett? You post a fair bit, Brett. Like, is that obviously like a marketing thing, and that's the reason why you sort of post a lot of, well, not a lot, but like a decent amount of lead up photos?
Well, I think it also kind of matters that where you're at in your career. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked him, because he's been through, different preps, done different philosophies. So like, of course, guys now, looking at like Phil towards the end, William Bonac, Brandon Curry, they've been there so long that like they don't post shit anymore. You know what I mean? At all. And like, I kind of wish I could do that, but also I haven't, this obviously crossed my mind for the Arnold. I was like, do I post shit or do I not? I kind of want to keep things under wrap. I'm looking good at this point, whatever. But it's like, I'm not to that point with, my branding, my marketing, my sales, things like that, I need people, I need to build that following still at this point in my career. Yeah. So it's more of like showing as much as I can early on. And then, I'm looking forward to that point down, after getting developed, getting, set where I'm at with placings and stuff, that I don't have to, where it's just like every once in a while if I want to, but more so now it's just more about building the brand still, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. But mate, how was you guest posing on the weekend? Was it the Twin Cities show there? And it looked, man, you obviously got a good reaction from it. Obviously, like I did a video mentioning it. Nick Trigilli did. I think also Nick Strength and Power mentioned you. So you obviously made an impact, and everyone said it looks like you've gained size and looking, you know, pretty damn impressive for off season. But how was the whole guest posing, and how do you think the response was?
No, I appreciate the video too.
Pleasure, man.
It was good, man. Minnesota, it was up in Minnesota. I don't know if you really know the states, you two guys, but it's,
I know the geography based off basically like NBA.
Yeah, so I was thoroughly impressed with the community. Geography, close to Canada. No, it was really good. You know, it was a really, really well run show. It was a lot bigger than I thought. You know, there was like 800 people there, standing room only at the finals, 150 to 170 athletes. So it was just like really cool how I think this was only the second year they did it too. So it's like the promoter, you know, he's really well known in the community, does a good job getting all the athletes there. I think he's a coach himself. So they got a good thing going up there, and I'm glad they asked me because I had a really good time. It was really quick. You know, just kind of got to show off what the off-season bod looks like right now. You know, pretty full of water and heavy, but you know, definitely progressing. So this is good to see on stage, even for me. Like, you know, what does it look like, the full off-season body on stage? But you know, obviously, you know, pretty watery here and stuff. But I feel good. You know, it's new muscles being added, and so just got to continue what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing that I sort of mentioned in my video. I'm like, yeah, there's obviously fat there, there's obviously water there, but it seems like it's probably more water than fat to me, just the way it looks, you know what I mean? Like just that off season, like you can sort of tell when people are holding fluid compared to fat when you've been looking at it for long enough. And it doesn't look like you're holding a lot of fat on your physique, but how much are you like eating now to, I suppose, to look like this?
Well, of course, eating shit ton, man. I'm probably right around 6,000 calories, 7 meals a day. So I get in for sure 6 meals. If I can get a 7th in right now, I do, even if it's in the middle of the night. But just trying to get, like I said, you know, we talked about it. I've only ever talked about it on this podcast, is I want to compete before this, you know, before the season's up this year. So right now, these next 3-4 weeks, I'm trying to get waking up at 285, and then I'll start cutting down from there.
Yeah, for sure. Are these the promoters here?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, awesome.
So that's Kirsten and Jeff. Those are they're up there, and they do a fabulous job, man. It was really good, really well. What was really cool was right after I guest posed, Charles Griffin proposed to his girlfriend right there on stage, right behind me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And then everyone would do the atmosphere was juice. So they're all excited for me. And then he like stood up, took his shirt off, and started hitting poses, jumped into the crowd and stuff. It was wild, man. It was a good time.
That's cool. That's awesome. But I want to give a shout out as well to the promoters, because obviously getting guest poses, I think, is awesome. And I want to see more of it because, man, it's getting you guys exposure as well, because, you know, like when we see guest posings now, they're sort of like few and far between. So obviously, you know, channels like mine, Nick Strength and Power, all those channels are going to report on it. So you're getting, you know, maybe 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 more eyes on you as well as the athlete. Plus also you get paid. So I want to give credit to these promoters because their shows are getting more eyes as well. And then you know, their athletes that are competing there you know, they get to hang out with, you know, pro backstage and all that sort of stuff. So I think that guest poses I think they're just as beneficial as they were in the past, pretty much. I think it still brings eyes to the shows. And yeah, you might not get quite as many spectators based off the guest poser because you get to see these guys on Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But I still think it brings a huge amount of value to the show. So Definitely. Shout out to them for getting yourself. And they also had women's physique competitor, I forgot her name, Rule Lane on Instagram.
So they had Rachel Daniels there too.
Rachel,
so they did a great job of that because they had her for like the more very good artistic posing routine. I think it was Michael Jackson, you know, really, really flashy. So you had that crowd there wanting to see that. And then I was like, you know, I'm just coming out fucking full blown, you know, just trying to have fun. So it attracted a lot of people. So it's good to see that shit still working, you know, like people are coming to see the guest posers, you know, there's excitement for that. And, you know, but you know, it's not necessarily dead still.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool to see, man. Did you guys speak to the crowd or anything like that? Because it looked like you guys did at one stage.
Yeah, so we spoke at like the athlete meeting in the morning to all the athletes before the show started, which was cool.
Yeah, I think that's what I was looking at here. I think that's cool. It gives like the athletes that are competing, you know, in this amateur show, you know, a little bit more value and what they're getting and stuff. So I think that's really cool. And I think, you know, applaud those promoters for actually doing that. But
absolutely.
Nathan, what's been happening in your life, man? You're over there in Paris now.
Paris.
Unfortunately,
Your
in
favorite
Paris
place.
again. Unfortunately, well, yeah, just a long day today. I got up early start. It's my friend and cousin owns a vodka company, so I had to go and do it like a little TV commercial, YouTube type thing for them.
Oh, nice.
And then I changed the flight from Manchester to London because it was in between, and then get a flight from there. And then I didn't fucking have a PCR test. Don't know why you need one. My COVID thing had run out or something. So I'll make a few phone calls, get my PCR test done, and then fly over to fucking Paris. Unfortunately, it's a fucking boring ass country. Sorry to say, we're from France. I just don't like it. It's what it is. But do some guest touring with the moto and stuff, and you know, seen a few good gyms over here. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'm fucking tired. It's like what 10 to 1 or something.
Yeah, we won't keep you too long, man. But a lot of people say that. A lot of people
I'm
say
waiting for my kebab anyway. The food's good.
Nice. Some
Uber
Eats.
Kebab before bed, so it'll do me.
But a lot of people say when you travel around Europe, it's hard to find like good gyms in certain countries. Like the UK, it sounds like it's fine, and a few other countries are fine. But I've heard a lot of people say when you go to other countries, it's like impossible to find a half decent gym over there in Europe. Is that true?
I don't know, bro. Like, I don't really come here to train, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully, most have it all sorted. They say, you know, they took me to They took me to Italy last time. I seen a fucking good few. Me and James, a few hardcore gyms there. Fucking, they were badass. Like, but personally, I wouldn't have found them myself because it's like in the middle of nowhere. So I'm hoping, you know, because obviously I'm back in full blown training, can get a good few sessions in. But I'm here till Sunday. I'm supposed to do legs on Saturday, but I'll give that a miss because I like to train legs where I'm comfortable in my own gym.
Yeah.
So just to do more body work, really, bro. Give it just give it a whirl.
And legs are one of those things as well. When you're pushing on them and you're going hard, it's like you don't want to be using new machines for the first time and all that sort of stuff necessarily when you're on the road and traveling and all that sort of stuff. I've heard like a lot of people that do go hard when they travel getting injured. Like I know this is back in the day when I believe I was running RX Muscle Australia, and I flew, I think Aaron Singerman and Dave Palumbo out, and Aaron Singerman came straight off the plane and went straight to the gym, and he was reasonably strong. He was doing 3-plate incline barbell presses, and he went straight into that, and he like slightly tore his pec, and he showed me, and it was bleeding. I was like, holy crap. And he's just like, oh, it's fine. I was like, I would be shitting myself if I did that. But yeah, he went literally straight off a flight from the US to the gym.
When you're traveling though, anyway, you don't want to do fucking legs anyway, because who's gonna fucking load the bar for you? I ain't doing by myself. I load the leg press. Oh, I need at least 2 or 3 men for that. So I'll just probably miss legs this week.
Man, you know you probably get a cop shit for that. Skipping legs.
I miss leg day, bro. I go to men's physique. I'll be good.
Yeah,
anyway.
nice. You join me. But guys, I want to discuss a little bit. We've got actually a fair few topics this week on the show, and I wanted to quickly discuss the show was on the weekend, Mr. Big Evolution Portugal Pro. I think I fucked it up about 3 times when I uploaded it. I uploaded it to Puerto Rico Pro, then I put the Prague Pro, and then I actually got it right, and it was Portugal. But what do we think of it? I'll bring some photos up. I might even bring a video up actually, because I had a little bit of footage in the post-show video that I did. But I'll go to you first, Brett. What did you think of the show? Andrea Presti won it, and then Dean White won his pro card and then went straight into the pros and then got his Olympia qualification, winning that straight away, which is pretty crazy. But what do we think of the whole show, and what do you think about Andrea Presti?
I obviously I was busy with the guest posing and, you know, the events this weekend. I didn't see much coverage. You know, I just saw literally, you know, maybe you can show me something, but literally just a few pictures in the top 2. What I was interested in is like who I kind of had, I don't know who you guys picked and stuff, but I kind of thought, you know, Tim was going to win. Tim, what's his last name? Martin, you know, Budashim. You know, I've always been pretty impressed with him. And the thing is, like from pictures, I finally went and looked, you know, I think his coach posted a picture or something. He actually looked really good.
He did.
So I'm surprised he didn't get a look, or like at least get him prepared, you know, get him compared to those top 2 guys. But overall, like, I think they got it right. You know, that Andre, he's been knocking on the door for the last 4 or 5 shows, and he just keeps coming up more and more appealed. You know, it's almost, he even got better, I think, each show. So I think he definitely earned that one, and you know, he looked good. You know, he just was the most conditioned guy up there, I thought.
Do you know what the thing is? Standing on his own, you can really pick him apart, like his weaknesses. But when he was one-on-one with Andrea Musi in that final 2 call out, you could really see the difference in the upper body. Like you could see how much bigger Andrea Presti actually was. And it sort of surprised me a bit because Andrea Musi on his own looks really, really impressive. But then when he stood next to him, it takes away a lot. So you can really see the difference in the upper body. But obviously in the legs, Andrea Musi sort of had the quads compared to Andrea Presti. So you can sort of, I think on a Olympia stage, Andrea Presti will probably fall behind some guys just because when you're on the Olympia stage, I think if you've got a weakness that is glaring as, I suppose, I wouldn't say his legs are just crazy, crazy weak, but when you've got a weakness like that on the Olympia stage, I think it sort of stands out a little bit more. So I think that will make it harder for him to sort of make the top 10 in Olympia sort of lineup. But I still think he can sort of improve on what he brought, when was it, last year or the year before, when I think he came in last at that show. So I think he'll improve on that, but I don't know if he'll be sort of contending. A lot of people sort of start to put him in the top 10 straight away. I might be leaving him out at this stage. What do you think of Andrea Presti, Martin?
I think conditioning was incredible, man. Like you said, just legs overall are shallow. It's quads, it's hamstrings, even the glutes are a little bit small. He gets in crazy condition. And like we talked about before, he's really good at posing to kind of cover up his flaws a little bit. Kicking that knee out and stuff makes his legs look a little bigger than they are so that it doesn't completely hurt him. And he has big adductors, even though his sweeps are small. So he has potential to have really high quality legs. And the upper body is wild. Like the shape up there is crazy. The lats come out like straight up wings, and he's got the insertions that are pretty, and he's got great pecs. So he has all the potential in the world. Like Brett said, these guys posing next to each other, he really exposed Muncie, or however you say his name. I'm terrible with the European names, but
Musi or whatever.
Very, these are the shots that exposed him, in my opinion, the back especially. They were both really good from the front. And realistically, from the pictures, I've been studying these because I got to go against both of these guys at the Arnold UK. Cool. Both of these guys can use work on posing and stuff like that, but they're both high quality athletes. So I'll be excited to see how they compete at the Arnold UK. And Tim, I really, from the front, he was insane. But from the back, he just was lacking a little bit compared to these two guys. So I think that's why he fell back a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I said in my post-show review. Like the Tim from the front and from the side, you're going, wow, this dude's crazy. Yeah. And then from the back, you're going, if they're sort of close, or if the judges are seeing them as close, I think when they get to the back, they're like, okay, that's the deciding factor. Tim was a little bit weaker, so push him down. But none of these guys really had crazy backs. You know what I mean? Like I think that Andreas was pretty decent, but there was no one's back that sort of stood out. And I think it was sort of, on a lot of these guys, it was sort of one of their weaker body parts, I think. So it wasn't like these other guys blew him away from the back, but they still, might have won those shots, which was sort of a deciding factor. But Nathan, what did you think of the show? And do you think that Tim was maybe slightly overlooked in 4th place?
First of all, we all got our fucking predictions wrong, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I was actually just trying to find those in the notes. I was trying to find our predictions. So
we all got smoked there. I don't think this was the best Tim. I've seen him a hell of a lot better. So I don't think he wasn't overlooked, to be honest. I think both Andreas did beat him quite easily. I think Tim at his best would demolish them both. But what I've seen at the weekend was, personally, I think it was like a 75%, 8% Tim. Far from his best. You look back to pictures from last year, he was way better. Condition was better. The symmetry looked better. The waist was tighter. From what I seen personally, up front, because Peter, I think, was 3 times or twice against him last year. So it was good. For me, Andreas Pretz, he was the one who won it, right? I think he himself, he was they were all great condition. I think he was the person with the least flaws that won the show. That makes sense. Yeah. The guys weren't all immaculate, perfect, but he was one with the least flaws.
I'd agree with that.
His legs could do with a bit of work. I didn't think he was going to be in the shape he was going to be in, to be honest. From the pictures he posted online, he looked a little bit off, a little bit small, but credit where credit's due. He pulled in, he looked a hell of a lot bigger than he did on his pictures, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I was pretty damn impressed with Andrea, like when he stands next to people. When he's on his own, like you said, like he can look a little bit undersized, but whatever they do with the carb up, it definitely works for Andrea Presti, because it seems like he just fills out so much. From those pre-contest 1 week out photos, he looks flat, but he gets on stage and his color's really good here as well. And I think, yeah, he just dries out really, really well. And I mean, some people like that. Like I've had clients before that I've been like, yeah, very, very in decent shape. You know, they're holding a little bit of fluid. And then you do that, you know, last week sort of manipulation sort of stuff. And they're like, holy crap, you're actually shredded. You just had a little bit of fluid on your physique and need to fill out a bit. So some people change dramatically for the better in that sort of last week. And some people sort of maybe like Andrea Musi sort of stays somewhat the same. But yeah, I think it was a decent show. It was reasonably deep in terms of the lineup. I've already done a review on it. So if people want to check that out with some footage and all that sort of stuff, you can head to that video on the channel. I'll put a link in the description as well. But I'll just quickly mention as well, Dean White, who won the 212, won his pro card, I think that day or the day prior, and then went on to compete in the 212s, and he qualified for that 2022 212 Mr. Olympia. What do you think, Brett?
Oh, no, I don't know too much about this guy. I know like you said earlier, he won the amateur the day before. So that's really cool coming out there. I didn't really see his competition, so I don't know who was there for the 212. But yeah, he looks good here. You know, that's a pretty cool story to win your pro card and then make it to Olympia the next day. You don't see that very often. Obviously, you know, this year will be just about kind of trying to make his name for himself at the Olympia. I think is he like, does anyone know how tall he is? He kind of looks a little bit like, you know, not tall, but like probably 5'8", 5'9" you know?
Yeah, I think.
But which will be tough against like, you know, like a Derek Lunsford who's 5'6" and full muscle, or a Clarita or somebody, you know? So, but like you said, it'll be his first run at it, and good luck to him.
Yeah, I thought he actually looked reasonably short, but I don't know. Like, I think because when someone's got a really small waist, you sort of assume that they're possibly like taller because of just the way the structure looks.
That could be too. I don't, like I said, I can't tell.
Because right here,
right there,
looks reasonably short. But I'm not too sure. What do you think, Martin?
I think he's pretty impressive, man. I followed him for a while because of Ben. I know Ben Chow coaches him. So I've been following him for a while. I would like to know what he weighed. Because like Brett said, if he has the class completely tapped at 212, I don't know how well he's gonna do against these guys. He just looks a little thin muscled to go against some of these other guys, but he has some really impressive shots. He has really pretty shape, and he's in incredible condition. So, you know, he has all the potential in the world. I didn't know anyone else in the 212. So it's kind of hard to compare him or, you know where he's going to stack up against other 212 guys that we know do well.
Yeah, I think he looks great.
I was going to say, I think right there, the back shots is where he's under muscled against other 212 guys. And if the class is tapped, he's going to struggle there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that back double bicep sort of just exposes the one big real weakness that he has, because the rest of his physique's really good. Like, I mean, you look at the front lat spread, the front double, even some of those side shots, they look absolutely phenomenal.
He could definitely use some more adductors there too, you know.
True.
Whenever there's a big gap in between the legs, those big guys have some big legs.
Yeah, but then you look at some other shots and you go, wow, this dude's like a world beater. What do you think, Nathan? How do you think he'll do in the pros?
Oh, well, I'll put it down on it, even though I'm the only English person on it, and give some negativity. So for me, obviously, the best man of the day won the show. Same as Martin said, though, who was actually in the show. And it goes to show that right now, the pro bodybuilders are not active. They obviously don't give a fuck because, you know, if he come up against anyone in the top 20, could he beat them? I doubt it. But then, you know, you look at the paycheck and it's who's going to charge fucking $4,000? No one. It's it's a shamble, you know. So all the guys, we touched on this last week and the week before, I think. You know, it's a business. Some guys, it's a job. But who's going to travel for $4,000 anyway to do the show? Nobody. So that's why I believe he won it. Obviously, he was the best guy on the day. Will he do well in the Olympia? No. Will he be the best 2-1-2 guy there from England? Probably so. You know, but the weaknesses there on his back, and like the guy said before, if he's tapped out, he's going to go to open. Because I think Dean is quite heavy, or fairly heavyish. I think he is on the border of the 2-1-2, if not like just, you know, doing a lot of the cardio to get in. Because he is a fairly fucking big kid, you know. So I think he is tapped. Maybe he just jumped in the 2-1-2, get the Olympic qualification to get a pro card, and then obviously, you know, after next year, take a year off possibly and go to the Open.
Yeah, I always like to see this. I like to see the progression of guys going through, you know, the 2-1-2 and then going to the Open, or going classic and then Open. I think it's really cool. And I didn't think we'd actually see as much of that in pro bodybuilding, but we've seen actually a lot of it. Obviously, you, Brett, we mentioned it with Keon, we've mentioned it with Jason Lowe. A ton of guys have actually ended up doing that, which I think is really, really cool, because I love to see, like, you see someone doing well in one class, and you're like, well, how are they doing this one? You know, how are they doing the Open? And I love to see that sort of transitioning. And hopefully we see it. Actually, we'll touch on this now quickly. Derek Lunsford, we saw a video come out from Dan Solomon. I reported on it. I don't know if you guys have actually seen it, where Dan Solomon sort of says, you know, it might be sort of a health issue, you know, letting, or sort of forcing in a way Derek Lunsford to try to get down to 212 when he was 260-ish at that guest posing in Pittsburgh. And Dan Solomon sort of said, we need to make the decision. We might be left with, you know, Derek Lunsford, you know, can't make 212, and we might not see him this year. And, you know, should we give him a special? What's that?
That's Derek's fault. That's Derek's fault. No one else's.
For sure. So I want to get your guys' opinion. Do you think
Derek knows he's in a 2-1-2? Unless he's fucking totally backward, which he's not. He's a smart kid. He's in 2-1-2. So if him goes to 260, it's his own fault. These special limitations given like fucking tampons and a fucking Walmart, bro. Everyone just every motherfucker just gets one. It's make it, you know, the Olympia is now becoming watered down. I believe anyway. Yeah. You should go to the Olympia off a pro win. If you win a 2-1-2, you go to a 2-1-2 Olympia. You can't just go to the 2-1-2 to Open. Work your way there. You know, Brett has to do it. Guys come from fucking men's physique. Basically, Brett, almost, but close. You know, but you know, you have to. He's earned his right to go there because he won a pro show, and you go there. So you know, even though Dan's a good guy, fuck, I make my voice heard. Is actually me getting no special invitation because you give one to Flex 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, and then fucking Flex retired from being retired. You know what I mean? So you can't just keep giving them out. You know, it's unfair on the guys who have won pro shows. And that's what it comes down to. I think, you know, Ian said it himself, a lot of guys have said it, but it's unfair, you know. There's a ton of pro shows now. He's 260, okay, it's a health issue. You know, then go and jump in a pro show in October, win the pro show, and then go to the Open. And then you haven't got to come down. Right or wrong?
Yeah. No, I understand that. Do you think he will get a special invite though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to make all that shorter, yeah, he's probably gonna get special.
Yeah. You don't agree with it. Brett, where do you stand?
But like, you got to look at like also, I stand on like kind of on the competitor side looking here. Like now I feel bad for like Sean Clarita. You know what I mean? Like they want to give Sean a special invite. You know what I mean? Like he had to go earn his spot. He had to go win a pro show, or sorry, an Open show to qualify for the Open Olympia. So now he gets to choose what he gets to do, but that's because he earned that, right? You know what I mean? He that's why he did it, I think. Because I think there's a chance he does the Open this year, honestly. I don't know, but just there's a good chance.
Get some inside info, Brett. Spill the beans, bitch.
I don't have that.
Spill the beans,
bitch. But with Derek, it's like, so you're gonna give him an invite just because he's been eating really good and blew up this offseason? Like, you either got to defend your title or you got to go win an Open show. I agree with that. Like, I more so understood the Flex one because you're a 7 times champion. You've been out for 2 years, growing, whatever. And so they want to see you, you know, back in Open. But You know, Derek at least needs to defend his 212, or he needs to compete, you know, at one of the last shows to try to qualify.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Martin, where do you stand on it in terms of, do you think you'll actually, Brett, do you think you'll get an invite? Do you think you'll actually get it?
Moral of the story, yeah.
Martin, where do you stand on the whole thing as a competitor, and also maybe see it, I suppose, from a fan perspective as well? What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, I can hit on both sides of this. I mean, do I think it's fair that Derek could just step up into the open after winning a 212 show? Not a chance, because I don't think that there's a single 212 show that compares to an open show in my mind. Just because Sean Clarita went and won one doesn't mean anything, man. Sean Clarita was the best guy on that day, but let's be honest, most 212 guys can't go win an open show, so you got to go win one. But as a fan and as somebody that sees Derek have potential to realistically even crack top 5, it's hard to say no to him. So he's going to get the invite. And we don't get a say. They don't give a shit what we think. So he's going to get an invite. I really think that. It's whatever they decide, but I know kind of that Derek's not coming down to 212. So they better hope he gets the invite, I guess, or he better go win something in October. So
okay, so that being said, right now, obviously, let's jump the gun side to the whole thing, like our athletes rep and stuff. Then if we as athletes all disagree with it, then we should have the final say, right?
I think at least it should be a large.
Not even that. I'm going to Olympia this year, right? More than likely I beat Derek. I don't give a fuck, I'll just say it. But if Derek beat me to a 3rd place spot or a 4th place spot, he's taking money off me and off my kids, yeah? And then obviously that bumps Brett up a position. After the top 8, bro, you ain't get no money. You get chump change, right? So then he takes a spot of everyone else. And then that goes down the line. So everyone loses money. For specialization, I understand it from, a business point of view, but as an athlete's point of view, this is our business. We've got to pay our mortgage. We've got to pay our bills like everyone else. So we should have a say in it, and if you want to come down to, we take it to Bob or one, then we should, because it's unfair. Before I haven't been following bodybuilding long, so I can't really comment on it. But the first time I had a special invitation was for Kai Green, right? That was a one-time thing. It was very, very rare. Since Kai Green got that fucking one invite, every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry and his fucking dildo has had an invite. Do you know what I mean? So everyone gets one. Prime example, Rowley, didn't get an invite. Rowley got to the Olympia because of COVID, and then he got stopped because he apparently got COVID in an airport when he had to get tested, The year after, he had to go and qualify. Now, you tell me that Rowley Winkler doesn't have a bigger fan base than Derek Lunsford? Bullshit, because he does in the open, right? But he had to go and qualify. No one gave Rowley special invites. So why does it only come to certain people who get the special invites? If you give it to one, give it to everyone. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand your point of view. I'll play sort of like devil's advocate a little bit. So from a fan perspective, people want to see the big reveal of Derek Lunsford. Like, everyone obviously saw him at the guest posing, full-blown 260 pounds, and apparently he was even pushing things to get to that weight, which is sort of scary in itself as well. But as a fan, you want to see that big reveal on the Mr. Olympia stage, from the 212 to the Open Mr. Olympia. But I think the issue is that these special invites are handed out sort of at random and as at the Mr. Olympia's discretion, pretty much. So they can decide, we want this guy on the stage, he'll be on the stage. And it doesn't come down to necessarily past achievements and stuff like that. Obviously, that plays a factor when they think about it. But if, perhaps you guys knew as athletes, look, if you've won the 212 Olympia the year prior, you're allowed to go straight into the Open if you want to, you know what I mean? If that was sort of a rule and there's already there, then I don't know, I might be wrong. Would you have less of an issue with it, Nathan?
What, sorry, impact? What, sorry?
If there's a rule saying that it was, you guys knew prior to the special invite and all that sort of stuff, if there was a rule where the 212 Olympia winner from a prior year was allowed to compete in the Open the next year, would that be an issue if you knew?
Yeah, because you're not an open athlete. You're not an open athlete, because it's like saying then, there's a case, you could go to Olympia, place well, take the whole year off. Yeah. Like, look at the size fucking Brett got to in a year, right? So imagine Brett done well in the Olympia, took the whole year off, come to November, I can't get down to 212, knowing quite well that he weren't ever going to go to 212 anyway, and then you had the fucking year off to get bigger. That's fucking cheating, even though we all cheat in sports anyway, but that's fucking wrong. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. I've always seen it that way, and I just think it's fucking wrong. I only see it, you should go to Olympia on a win. Points should get scrapped anyway, because if you can't win a qualifier, you ain't even getting a look at. You're getting the fifth call out. You're getting the rations at the Olympia. Now you can all say, "Oh, it's an even steal." It ain't, because if you can't beat me at a fucking qualifier, you ain't beating me at the Olympia. Even though only 8% of people come in anyway on the Olympia on any given day, but it's it's the same judge who judged you 6-7 months ago. Same people. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I don't understand if them people, the Olympic judges, were all brand new. Yeah. And going back to, I think the judges for the Olympia should only judge the Olympia. You shouldn't, other fucking podcasts had a little rants and shit and said things and it went all wrong and that, but you should only judge the Olympia. It's like saying you do soccer, that referee or the ref wouldn't judge the semi-final and the final. He wouldn't judge them teams for a long time. Do you know what I mean? So it's a fair go. You can say that every year these judges are going in, and then they'll see that big reveal once a year. So Derek can get his big reveal. He can win his qualifier, then he can get his big reveal on the judges that he only sees once a year at the Olympia.
I will say that would solve some things, because obviously these judges seeing these guys compete through the year. And then if they see someone improve, just say you competed in one show, Nathan or Brett or whoever, and you were slightly off, right? You were 95% of what you can be. And then you go to the Olympia and you're sort of like 99%, you're improved, but you're still not quite 100. And they go, well, he improved. And they sort of compare it maybe to your last show a little bit. And some people said that about Dexter. If Dexter misses by a little bit, he gets heavily penalized when he was competing. So perhaps that's something that, like you said, if you had the Olympic judges only judging the Olympia, they'd have almost like, obviously they're going to see all the media leading up to it, all that sort of stuff, but they have sort of, in a way, a fresh set of eyes, in a way. But, you want your best judges at the Olympia, and if they can only judge the Olympia, then they're not judging, I suppose, any other shows as well. So it's sort of catch-22.
Yeah, because you're only compared to yourself. Obviously, compared to other athletes, but you're compared. That judge will see, Brett's, Martin's, or my best. They'll know what our best is, yeah. And in their minds, they'll judge that against what we bring today, and also what's on the stage. So if they're judging me at my best and I come in at 85%, then they ain't even going to look at me like, he's been better before. We've seen him better. Do you know what I mean? So don't always remember your best anyway.
Yeah. Martin, what's your thoughts? Would that make a difference if you knew prior to the Mr. Olympia that the 212 winner from a year prior was actually allowed to jump into the Open if they want?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would totally make it different, right? Because, I mean, we already know that that's not a thing because of Flex. Otherwise, Flex would have jumped in a long time ago. So, I mean, because we know that, that's obviously what makes it that much more aggravating, is like, oh, okay, so you can just, like these guys said, oh, so you can just have a good rebound and then you just get a jump out of the class. So, like, what's Chris Bumstead get to have a good rebound and get to come to the Open then?
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Like, come on, like that's so unrealistic. Like, that's bullshit. Like, I mean, not to say that Chris can't compete in the Open, because if he decided to do that, like, he'd have to take a year or more, but like he could do it. But he shouldn't get an Olympia qualification right off the bat. He's got to prove himself. I mean, 212 to 240 on stage, that's a huge difference on what you're going to perform, how you're going to look. I mean, he looked incredible at his guest posing, but come on, I mean, there's a big difference between full-blown watery guest posing and what you put together on stage as a full package. Now, like I said, I think Derek is super impressive and will do well, but at the end of the day, like these guys said, like, as an athlete and being one of these guys, like, well, then I should just go try to be one of these guys that's super small in the Open, make 212s, win a show, and then decide, oh, okay, well, I got my qualification. Sorry, guys, I had a good rebound out of the show. I'm going to do the Open.
Yeah, for sure. Brett, would it make a difference to you?
Well, I think like as we talk about this, what's kind of crossing my mind here is it's interesting how this all came off of a guest posing. It shows the power of the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. That's all it shows. Seriously, like that's if you he did other guest posings and looked cool, but we didn't. The media wasn't there. You know, all the head ups weren't there. You know, we didn't see anything. We didn't talk about it at all. But it was because it was at Pittsburgh Pro and he looked phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But what if he wouldn't have showed up like Rami or or missed a flight, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like what if he was sick, So it's all because it was on the Pittsburgh Pro stage, guest posing next to Brandon, who was off of gear, probably 220 pounds, Nick, who was big, looked good, and Hunter looked good. And he looked amazing, like I said, but it's just all because of the guest posing. So it's very interesting. Like we wouldn't even be having this conversation if it wasn't at the Pittsburgh Pro. So of course, like I said, lost train of thought. But also what I was thinking there is, you got to think about, like you said, with the flex thing, he never had that option and he won it 7 times. So we don't know. What I'm thinking here is we saw, he is with Hani now. So obviously we all in our minds are leaning towards the fact that he's going to be, peaking correctly now. But you also got to think he spent 4 years ahead of this where he wasn't peaking correctly. This is the first time he showed up on the Olympia stage on point. Besides his first year, I think he got 5th. That was because he was a newcomer. But, after that, he had 2 or 3 misses. And then now that he's with Hani, he was on for the first time. But we don't know if he's going to continue to show that. So it's just, like I said, I still think we need to, you got to earn it. And because you're going to look like a different being up there once you're dieted down as well.
Of course. So this is obviously him. This is on the cover of Muscular Development. This is him winning the Olympia for the first time in the 212s. And you look at that and you look at that physique, you look at the legs and everything. The legs were improved from a year prior because apparently the year prior, he got too paranoid, I think, about the weight and then went down and he's almost weighed in 10 pounds under his actual weight limit. And that's why his legs were all strung out and finished, I think, 4th in the Olympia. But you compare that and the thickness of that compared to that guest posing, wherever the photo is. And you look at his legs and everything like that. So I think he'd be obviously a lot better as an open pro. But like you said, Brett, so much news comes out about Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. And I think just everyone just wants to see this version dieted down and just to see what it actually looked like and not suffering down to get to that 212. So I understand why the fans are going. And a lot of the fans are on your guys' side as well, saying that they believe it's unfair. It's unfair to have a guy not have to qualify and just say, I can't make the weight and then actually walk into it. So it's an interesting debate. I suppose if they're giving out special invites and based on who they've given them to before, I mean, the Cedric McMillan one, the big Rami one, I think they're almost less warranted than Derek Lunsford getting an invite to the Olympia. But I don't agree with those ones either. I didn't agree with the Cedric. I didn't agree with the Rami. I haven't agreed with actually most of them, to be honest, unless it's like a legend like a Kevin.
Look at that one though, because Rami got a special invite and then fucking won the Olympia.
He did, yeah, exactly. It's a big impact because Brandon Curry, had he not got that, Brandon Curry would be a 2-time Mr. Olympia now. So that's
what I'm saying. So it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Rami and Brandon are my friends, but fair is fair, bro. If Rami didn't get his invitation, he will have to diet down, do a qualifier like everyone else, because I think the year before that he get 6th, I don't know. So he would need to qualify, and then obviously that could have fucking prohibited him from gaining the extra 3 or 4 months off season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to discuss a little bit. You mentioned it before, Nathan, about the athletes rep thing. Obviously, we saw it went down. Fouad mentioned it in a podcast, the live bro chat they did. And then Bob Cicherillo basically, he said about Bob Cicherillo, said basically, about an athlete's rep that isn't doing anything or something along those lines. Fouad actually put out his last Bodybuilding Blogs podcast and basically apologized to Bob. And he actually had a conversation with Bob on the phone and apologized to him there as well. But most people were siding with Fouad online, even under Bob's stuff. A lot of people were siding with Fouad, but we're not going to get into who's right, who's wrong. But I wanted to discuss with you guys a little bit about that conversation about an athlete's rep, about maybe doing things differently, maybe just the athletes knowing a little bit better that there actually is an athlete's rep, because some people don't know it. But I'll go to you first, Brett. What's your thoughts on, I suppose, the whole conversation about what went down? And then also, would you like to see maybe not necessarily things completely changed, but what would you like, I suppose, in terms of an athlete going forward?
So yeah, I think it was an interesting one for sure. Yeah. Bob went off, man. You know what I mean? Like, and you got to think, because like he just thought it was a personal attack, and I see where Fouad was coming from in some regards, but he was also pretty vicious about it. You know what I mean? Like I saw the clip, and he was just like, like, well, we don't, he doesn't do anything. He never named Bob, but was saying how, they need to step up. And in some regards, he was correct in that, like, you don't see a lot of what Bob does, but it's because it's behind the scenes. And I'm not saying he does it, does a lot, but he does obviously things. He listed them off. But it's just, we don't necessarily know about it. You know what I mean? Like he had a say in creating, what he say, women's physique. He had a say in creating classic physique. So it's like, those are big deals, but we didn't know about that because it wasn't, publicized or marketed or anything like that. So I think he did have the right to go on there and defend himself and say, hey man, like you just need to do a little research and see that I do stuff. Could there be more activity from him? Yes. You know what I mean? Like there could be, he could, they could get emails get emails of all the professional athletes and, send out monthly letters or like, more relationship with athletes to like hear us out. You know what I mean? He doesn't just have to sit there and be like, well, if they need anything, they should just figure out my email. You know what I mean? So it's like, you also got to think like, do we, and I don't know how deep I want to go into this, but he has to play both sides too, because Bob's actually employed, by the IFBB. He's not employed by them, but he works directly with them. And so he if he's going to represent the athletes, do we want somebody? You got to think like football. You got to think of the players rep on there. He's solely on the athlete side. So it's like players rep in football is going clashing with the Roger Goodell, the owners. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm solely going to only represent the athletes, and I'm going to fight you guys for as much leeway as you'll give me, But here it's like he's on both sides of the fence. So he's got to play right down the middle all the time. So it's like, would you rather have like, when Sean Ray did it, he was solely athletes only. I'm going to be a nuisance to these guys, and I'm going to get the most out of the athletes as I can. So I would like to see a little bit of more of a step up of him being more known a little bit. I knew he was the athletes rep, but a lot of people don't. You're right. A lot of people don't know we have an athletes rep, but it's also like, there's more that, and this is a whole discussion on itself, but why don't we go around the route of, like health insurance for athletes? Those are things that athletes reps do, is like trying to figure out ways of, with this being such with recent health issues and everything, like how do they set up insurance for us? Things like that. We still play, but like reduced rate, things like that. So, because there's a lot of bodybuilders out there that aren't on health insurance, we know that, and they're just fucking, playing Russian roulette right now. So it's like, there's many avenues he could go and, maybe approach it more. But like I said, he's done a lot for the league. He's done a lot for the athletes. So it's like, you don't come out and act like he hasn't done anything. I didn't hear that Fouad actually apologized. So that's good to see that he apologized on how he approached it, and it should have been approached a different way.
Yeah. He basically apologized and then said, I think there still can be more done, which is absolutely the truth. And I think that was probably, honestly, to be honest, the right thing to do as well, because it did come off as a little bit harsh. It was short and harsh, and then Bob obviously went pretty harsh and long. He had a lot of comments and stuff. But Martin, what do you think? Like, obviously being a relatively new pro, what do you want to see more, I suppose, as an athlete, and what do you think about the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Brett really touched over everything greatly, but, I personally didn't know that Bob was our rep, so that's something like Brett said, that it needs to have a better presence, and something that we need to talk about, I think even a better example than the football is baseball, because like, they actually lock out. I mean, these players' unions, which is what we need to essentially, what an athlete rep essentially assembles as a players' union. And they have lockouts, and they say, like, we're not going to do a show until you make the prize money $25,000. Maybe we do that. But we as athletes also have to step forward, all come together as a union, and start making those judgment calls and saying like, hey, promoters, sorry, but not a single IFBB pro bodybuilder is going to do an open show that doesn't have prize money of 25,000 or whatever we decide to do. But we also have to get involved as athletes too. So, you know, that's something that us younger guys that are all just kind of coming up the ranks right now, me, Brett, Hunter, Nathan's a veteran, you know, but he's right here too, that we can kind of take those steps, and maybe we need to start doing that. You know, obviously you don't want to piss the league off. But at the end of the day, they still need us. So you can play a little bit in our advantage. You know, whether Bob is doing that behind the scenes or not, I don't personally know as much about that, but I think that us as athletes can do more too. So, you know, it's something that at least it's all getting brought to light. And I think that that's important more than anything, is now athletes know that we have someone that represents us. Maybe we can start reaching out. Maybe we do set up something and we see things like that, like Brett said, health insurance or prize money or any of those things. I mean, there's a multitude of things that we can do to make this better for athletes or easier for athletes. Even talking about, hey, let's talk to promoters about flying people to these shows to get the shows to be bigger, like we've talked about in past podcasts as well, you know. So I think it's beneficial in the fact that we know now that there's avenues that we can take to start making those changes.
Yeah, Nathan, I'm sure you won't hold back on your opinion. What's your thoughts on obviously probably what Fouad said, what Bob said, and then obviously the whole situation, and what would you like to see, I suppose, from the federation to, I suppose, to benefit athletes more in a way, I guess, or what you like to see?
It's not really the federation, is it? To benefit the athletes. It's more the athletes to benefit the athletes.
Yeah.
One, I thought Fouad was right in what he said. I personally knew that there was an athlete rep from my second pro show. Bob introduced himself to me at the New York Pro, said, you know, Bob Cicherillo, you know, athlete rep, whatever, and need anything, message me. Didn't have his Instagram, so I just followed him at the time. So I knew from the get-go, but I didn't know what an athlete rep was, to be totally honest. Me, I've always said, you know, we need a union. We do. But bodybuilding's such a fucking bitchy ass sport and a selfish sport that, you know, Martin said then, we're not going to do a show unless we get 25,000. Now, I'll tell you this, I'm all for that. I'll say no. I ain't doing a show unless I get 25G. But you'll get some dipshits who just turned pro at the fucking Iceland Classics or something, yeah, and he'll just jump in the show. And then when that one person removes the brick, everything comes crumbling down, bro. Everything comes down. And that's what bodybuilding is. Unfortunately, we're not a united front. We never will be, because we're not a team. We're an individual entity, right? So, as I said before, we look out for ourselves. When we go back to Derek, we're all out for ourselves individually. And it's sad, really, because there's a few guys like myself and the guys in here who would look out for other people, but the majority of them wouldn't. So, you know, the IFBB, I get by the balls. I just laughing because they know they're going to get away with it. You know, I've asked Bob several things for me, advice on things. He's always got back to me straight away. Basically talking to him now in regards to something, in regards to, you know, athletes in a better avenue of making money, where we can and where we can and can't go, because a lot of people are saying we can't do things and we can do things. No, basically saying we can't do things, sorry. Speaking to Bob in regards to it now. And, you know, he's all for athletes making money. So for me, it was easy to reach out to him. I've always reached out to him. But a lot of the guys don't know who he is. Maybe when you turn pro, you should, you know, get an email off Bob straight away. You know, you turn pro. Hi, you know, I'm Bob Cicherillo, athlete rep. Need anything? Blah blah blah. Get on me. Just a generic email. So when you turn pro, you should have to give your email address in, you know, your fucking national insurance number, whatever, you know, date of birth, your contact details. From that, Bob gets on you straight away. But, you know, he is playing devil's advocate because, you know, he works at IFBB and he works for the pro league and the athletes. So it is kind of hard for him basically to, you know, go there and demand certain things because, again, he's got to look out for Bob, right? So, you know, maybe if he passes the reins, you know, keeps the reins himself, but obviously have someone else, like a manager, who can go to the gym and talk shit and stuff and then it won't reflect bad on Bob. It'll look bad on that person who's saying it. Do you know what I mean? Someone will take the heat off him, even though it's Bob's ideas, then it doesn't look like Bob to be a bit of a fucking pain in the ass. But yeah, you know, both of them are right. Things can be done to change, and we do need a lot of change because we're stuck in the fucking 60s, bro. We're fucking still think fucking Joe Weider owns the gaff. Do you know what I mean? We're fucking stuck in black and white. You know, you fucking ballerinas probably get more money than us. It's fucking literally it's bullshit. So we need to, you know, update this whole new thing. And I think Bob watches these podcasts, and I know he takes knowledge of it. Obviously, he found Fouad's one. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that Bob will do something about it because, you know, he hates not doing shit. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully, man, something comes of it. So in a way, Fouad bringing this up and him and Bob going at it might have ignited something. Who knows, you know?
Yeah. I honestly think so, man. Like, I think it has and it will. It's been talked about, and hundreds of thousands of people are seeing this conversation as well sort of play out all through social media and on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's sort of a good thing because of these sort of conversations is what leads things to actually happen. So that's why I like why Fouad brought it up. I even like that Bob responded, even though, you know, some people say, oh, that was too harsh or whatever. And he went too hard. It's still good because it keeps a conversation coming up, you know?
But that's Bob not holding no bars, right? He's just telling how it is. That's if you speak to him, you know, Brett spoke to him. That's how Bob talks, like how I talk, you know, swear a lot. I won't say I'm foul mouthed, I talk too fast or whatever. But Bob's just being Bob, you know. So you have to respect the man for respecting him. Fouad's being Fouad. Fouad's kind of on the fence, but opinionated at the same time. And Bob just being himself. So, you know, I don't think people can say he went too hard because he just was himself.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. No, I totally understand that. And I think that, like, this is just my opinion on what I think would be sort of a solution. And is Bob can still have a role, but maybe not call it the athlete's rep because he's no longer an IFB pro, which, you don't maybe necessarily have to be. I don't know. People have different opinions on that. But if he became almost like, you called him like the athlete liaison or something like that, then we had, you guys had an athlete's rep for each division because there's so many pros now. Like literally there is probably thousands of bikini pros, I'm sure, around the world. There's probably thousands of men's physique pros now. There's probably close to 1,000 classic pros. When you're trying to manage, how many pros would there be? 5,000, 6,000, 7,000? It's a lot of IFB pros around the world.
Yeah, we were sending an email out. It's just a generic email, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I think if you have a different, athlete's rep for every category, then it's going to be more bizarre because then those athletes reps are going to be arguing with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you're going to make more shit. So just keep it to one person. Maybe someone like Dexter who's just left the sport, give him a role because Dexter's quite opinionated at the same time. Like I said, Bob can be the athlete's rep and Dexter can be his fucking, whatever it's his go-to. And then let Dexter take the shit, but Bob can still be there with the IFBB talking with them and talking with Dexter at the same time. Someone like that, or Jay, for example,
Yeah, Jay would be awesome. But if you did have, just say you did have one athlete's rep, one sole athlete's rep, like you said, like a Dexter, then you had one person that sort of from each class that's an active competitor, had Zoom meetings, chatted with all the competitors from that class. So just say you had someone that did the 212s that's competing. And then all the 212 guys said, look, we want a day, a certain amount of time where we know the actual weigh-in is going to be. Because some shows it's 2 days prior, some days it's the day prior, some days it's the morning of the show where they have to weigh in. They might say, look, we want this is what we want as 212 competitors. And that's sort of the loudest thing from them. And then they can take it to say Dexter. And then Dexter can talk to Bob or the federation directly. And then something might happen.
That's so simple, right?
Yeah.
That's so simple to do. They can do it themselves right now. Open your mouth and just say, listen, the show's on a Saturday, the weigh-in's on a Thursday, or Wednesday. Just speak to it. I'm sure if the top 10 open the mouth tomorrow, it'll all be changed. But half of them, I said before, just want to please themselves and don't care about others. Open your mouth, and that can be done at the click of a fucking finger, bro. Do you know what I mean? That's it. It's done. Just, do you know what I mean? The only time a lot of it's changed is people flying in different countries and stuff. But obviously, you say, look, shows on a Sunday, weigh-ins on a Friday night, 7 o'clock, bang, it's done. And that can, if the top 10 done that, It's done. It's fucking. You wouldn't even need to get Bob involved. Just do it straight away. They do it because for them it's easy. Okay, every Friday, if you're not here by 7 o'clock, and there's none of this fucking, you know, you get 20 minutes to fucking lose that £2. Listen, 7 o'clock comes, your number's there. If you're not in, then you're fucked. You asked for 7 o'clock. You asked for Friday. If you haven't made away by Friday, then fuck off. You can't come running back and say, you know, this is your time. There's only 10 man in a show, or say 11 people in a show. It doesn't take more than 11 people 10 minutes and fucking pair of scales. Sean Creed goes on there with a fucking pair of Air Force fucking 25s, 15 pairs of socks, 25 hoodies, still on the fucking scale. Do you know what I mean? So just get on the scale, do your shit, and then go. So if they set it at a certain time, the Pro League will be happy with that because it's easy for them and they know that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. What's your thoughts, Brett? What would your sort of solution to it all be?
Well, another thing I want to bring up would be so simple to bring up and establish, and I know I've thought of this a lot, and you guys probably have too, is for classic physique, why don't you record your height at your very first show or before your first pro show, and then keep your height the rest of your career? Yeah. Like, you're never going to get taller, right? Like, they're not going to get taller.
You can get stretched out, bro. You can get stretched out.
I don't understand how each year they have, like, you know, for each show of these pros guys, they still have to height in and be worried about making a certain weight. You should have your official height right when you turn pro, either, you know, before the season or your very first pro show. That should be recorded by the IFBB. And then that's your weight you always have to make for the rest of your career, unless they change those weight categories.
Time, right?
Yeah, because like you got people that aren't peaked right for shows because, you know, last year they measured in at 5'11", and then they got all the way down there, and then they measured it at 6 foot this year, and they have an extra 10 pounds, you know? So it's like, it's always like, and then you're stressed them out there, you know? So it's like, that's something that needs to be established. And I'm sure that's been brought up, and I don't know why it hasn't been implemented. You know, maybe someone has an answer for me on that, but that's another one that just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why are these guys, you know, even Chris Bumstead has to height in this year at the Olympia. And like, you're telling me his height's different than it was last year? No way. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be the same height, you know, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know. That's another thing. Especially with the 212 too. That was a good one with, you know, always having the weight categories. But what was your question anyway?
I suppose, what would your solution in a way be? Not saying that it's completely broken right now, the whole system, but it's, you know, there are obviously athletes out there that do want things to be different. So
I actually kind of like, I know what Nathan was saying about when you were saying athlete reps. I kind of like the idea, but more so making it into a triangle up to Bob. So you have the athlete reps that go directly to Bob, and then they all collaborate. And then Bob presented to the, you know, to the IFBB, you know, the changes. So then maybe they can all vote together with Bob, and Bob presents it on to the next level. So I kind of do like that, because you're right. There are so many, you know, I mean, every category, there's so many everything anymore, but especially bikini, men's physique, classic physique. There's so many athletes that they need just a single person they can reach out to, you know, bring up these ideas that we're doing right now. Like, hey, you know, like, can you please pass this forward? Let's have a, you know, Zoom call about it and see if we can move it forward. I think that'd be a great solution.
Yeah, sure. Martin, what's your thoughts on it? What would your sort of solution be to the whole athletes rep thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million different ways we could do this, man. But I think, like, realistically, that's a great idea that you have with the different categories being represented. Because I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, if I was the athletes rep, I'm probably not going to go to the committee and worry about the bikini problems as much as I'm going to worry about the open bodybuilder problems.
Of course.
And that's just me being 100% honest, you know. So realistically, it should be that way, so that each class gets represented in the right way that they deserve, or think that they deserve, and then the higher up can decide. Or whatever that may be. I haven't put a lot of thought into this because it's not something that, like I said, has really been on my mind. But I do think that, like I said, this can create a lot of generation and a lot of talk. So, I mean, realistically, what do you fans think? You know, let us know down below what you think is what could work or what could be beneficial for us, or maybe what other organizations are doing a good job with athlete stuff like this. You know, I mean, obviously there's all the pro leagues and stuff, but I'm sure we could take something from each one of them.
Yeah, man. I like what you said as well. Like, I like you encouraging people to get in the comments too, because these shows have actually been really good in terms of people getting in the comments. But no, man, I totally agree. So it's an interesting topic, but we won't sort of continue on too much. Does anyone have any other thoughts on it that they want to sort of bring up about the whole athletes rep thing, or any other comments they want to make?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Vancouver, which is coming up this weekend, and it is a small lineup. But I have actually checked the athletes list while we've been talking. There's been a few names added to it. Yeah, there's 7 people now.
It's not just the Ian Valliere show.
It's not. We actually do have one guy that's actually placed 3rd and 6th in a show this year as well. So we'll bring that up. But it seems like it's coming down to be a 3-man show pretty much. So unless any of these other names that I don't actually know are going to look spectacular, then it'll probably be a 3-man show. And that's Jonas Giatris, who got 6th in his last show, which is that one where Tony Burton got 5th. So it's sort of like a stacked top 6 at that one. We've got Antoine Valiant, who has pretty much done a secret prep, and everyone only found out really as soon as his name was added to this competitor list, but he's competing. And then we've got Ian Valliere. So it seems like it's going to be sort of a top 3 there. I've looked up a few of these other names, and some of them came up with absolutely nothing at all. I'll look up a few more as well while we're talking. But I'll go to you first, Brett, and we'll discuss a little bit about Jonas Giatris, and we'll go through these competitors one by one. Now, this guy came, like I said, 6th in his last show. He's prepped by Chris Aceto. He brings crazy impressive conditioning. Brett, what do you think about Jonas, and do you think that he can, make that top 2 and beat out like an Antoine?
Yeah, no, we talked about him on, I think, the Orlando preview we did. I think he's going to show up just like that, very conditioned. Honestly, great idea for him to jump in, because he's going to get more stage experience being in the top 2, 3. I think he can. I think he can get second. I don't know. It's going to be between him and Antoine. I don't know how much smaller Antoine is than he has been in the past. He's obviously in shape right now, but he also lost some size because of those. Remember the health issues he was talking about, and that people thought he retired. But I actually heard a couple of weeks ago he was doing this, but it's just I almost feel like it's more so, hey, I'm in good shape for a guest posing. I'm just going to do this show. But it was good timing because he's probably going to get a 2nd or 3rd, So it'll be between Jonas and Antoine for 2nd. Ian, I don't, shouldn't have any issues on this show no matter what. Him holding himself as a professional that he is. And I don't know a single guy after that. They're just a bunch of Canadians, it looks like.
Yeah, so we've obviously got Antoine here, who, like you said, he does look a little bit downsized. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, is there any way he could fit in classic? And I was looking at his physique, and he's such a heavy dude all the time anyway. He's got huge legs. So I'm like, there's absolutely no way that he's doing that. And he looks, he does look like he's actually put on size, even just the last few weeks to me. And obviously his posing's really good. If he brings razor sharp conditioning, he can catch people off. Now, if Ian somehow totally missed the mark, like he did, well, he got 2nd at this show, but when he placed 2nd to Hunter Labrada and everyone, Ian copped a lot of slack that year. Is there any chance he can get beaten in this show, Brett?
No, there's no chance. I mean, I saw him in person last week. Like, he could have showed up like that and he's going to win this show. I'm just saying, obviously there's all, sickness or something crazy that happens, but that's not going to be the case here. This is his show to lose.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd say Antoine, for me, is the sort of, I wouldn't say the clear 2nd guy, but I think he'll probably end up 2nd in this lineup. Nathan, what do you think? Can anyone beat Ian Valliere in this lineup?
There's only fucking 5 of them in it. I don't even know. I don't know. Couldn't say. No, I know I don't. I know Anton. But obviously it's the Ian show, isn't it? It's fucking probably has to do a 4-week dive. Could still win it, probably, more than likely.
Yeah.
Like I said, if he comes off the mark, Anton will beat him just from condition, shape. But with Ian working with Pat, I don't think he's going to come in off. So, it's easy qualification for him. Even though he's put a lot of effort into the dieting, I think if he would have known it's a fucking 5-man show, it wouldn't have been as asked and as strict. But probably an easy walk in the park for Ian.
Yeah, I think so. Martin, what's your thoughts? How do you see it playing out between Ian, Antoine, and then Jonas?
Well, first off, I don't know if it's just a bitch to travel to Canada, but that's a fucking joke. I think we need to see more bodybuilders in the show.
I think you have to be vaccinated, Martin. I really do. I think there's like some issue. That's why You know?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, because I mean that's the only thing that I can come up with. Because I could see Tonio going up there and doing very well as well, or something like that. So, you know, good for Ian. Congratulations, man. When you see it.
Already congratulated.
As far as the other two goes, I hope it's a good battle. I don't know how much Antoine has lost, but he was huge in the past. So even with a little downsize, he's still very, very impressive. And his shape is going to go a long ways. And I think that he'll be just as conditioned as Jonas. So I do think that he'll take second. And otherwise, I mean, whatever. Like I said, this is a really unimpressive lineup. Like Portugal was more impressive to me, to be honest.
Yeah. If you could double the lineup, I mean, if you had two guys the caliber of Ian Valier or close to it, and then two guys the caliber of Antoine and two guys the caliber of Jonas, then I think this lineup would be looking like a sort of regular average pro lineup. But like you said, Brett, like with the vaccination thing, it makes it hard, man. Like there's a lot of pros that I notice, and especially in the bodybuilding industry, that have chosen not to get it. I'm one of them, man, because over here it was pretty locked down for a while. And I decided not to get it just based off, you know.
I don't think many people want to go to Canada right now anyway, you know, just from shout out to my Canadian people. I love you. But like a lot of people, like just there's not many that want to travel there. You know what I mean? Just because of their prime minister or whatever and their regulations and yeah, obviously the vaccination and stuff. But yeah, let us know if I'm wrong on that and on the vaccination thing. But I think that was the case because I knew somebody that went and did Toronto, and I'm not going to say who, but I think he got a fake card just to be able to compete there. So it's like, you have to go through that process. And then you, depending on what your political beliefs are, or your personal beliefs, it depends on if you're going to compete or not.
Yeah, exactly. But let's do our predictions. I think we're probably all going to have the same top three predictions, but I'll do mine first. I'm going Ian Valier first. I'm going Antoine Vaillant second, and then Jonas Giatris in third. But I could definitely see Jonas shocking some people and coming second in here if Antoine isn't 100%. What do you think, Brett?
I got the same.
Yeah. Nathan?
Can Ian not just take first, second, and third?
Just take all the checks.
It's pointless anyway, isn't it? You know what I mean? Make it the Ian show. That's what it is. But to be honest, it'll be Ian, Anton. I haven't got a fucking clue anyone else is. The other guy I forgot already. So
Jonas.
I remember he's coached by a Cito, but I don't know who the fuck he is. So no disrespect, buddy. I do apologize. But I will be Ian, Anton, and then that other guy.
Yeah. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so we've all got the same picks there, basically, for
Easy.
Vancouver, which makes it pretty damn easy. I had something else to bring up with you guys as well, but I was looking through my notes. One thing I was actually going to bring up. Obviously, you guys have seen probably what's going on with Calum Von Moger. He's obviously gone through some stuff, and there was a video put out that he's checking into rehab and all that sort of stuff. When he was actually in Victoria, and he's actually staying just outside of Melbourne, basically by an hour or two or something. But he's actually down in Tasmania, where I moved to. So I found that pretty interesting. I saw him on because I came over here on a thing called like the Spirit of Tasmania, which is the boat that goes from Victoria to Tasmania. And then I had to drive a couple of hours down to where I'm living now. And I saw a video, literally, it was probably only a month after I came over here on the Spirit of Tasmania, and he was on there as well. So he's on that same boat that I came over on, and he's down here. But I was actually thinking that I'd try to get him on for an interview or something. But do you guys think that, do you see any way that he would actually do an interview with me? Because I could drive to him. He'd be probably 2 hours away from me right now, drive. Do you think there's any way he would do an interview with me?
No.
I wouldn't get your hopes. He's going through some shit, man. Like, yeah, these are huge life problems, issues. You know, we don't even grasp, you know, especially with addiction. If he's off now, he's going through the cold turkey phase. Like, he probably don't want to talk to anybody right now, man. Just
I'm assuming not. I had one of my friends reach out to me, and he's normally like the voice of reason. He said, "Man, why don't you ask him for an interview?" Because he's like, you're the one that will actually not sort of throw him under the bus or do anything like that to him.
Right, it's worth a shot.
Yeah,
people are throwing him under the bus. You know, people are throwing him on the bus, so he's probably lost faith. You know what I mean? Of
course, that's what I was thinking too.
He'd probably do more of an interview with like someone like fucking who'd connect on this level, like, you know, like a Joe Rogan or something like that, because he just sees us as our bodybuilders. You know what I mean? So where someone on that level would interact, because everyone just bashes the guy, man. Like, I remember on a podcast, people just bashing him, putting his personal life out there and saying it's news. Me, I don't agree with that shit. Like, you know, obviously, okay, it's content and you're out there, but when it comes to family and personal shit, even if you're a Z-list celebrity or you're an A-list, shit's personal. You know what I mean? We all have troubled times, but you don't start sharing that shit. You know what I mean? So the guy's probably lost faith in the fitness media, which I would have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. He's going through a fucking hell of a lot. People, you know, who have been there would understand what he's going through. You know, people have been through similar things. But I just wish the guy good luck, man, because the road he's down's hard, bro. It's a fucking, you know, when I was younger, down similar roads, the road is hard. I was wishing the best of luck. And if it was me, I wouldn't do an interview. I'd say all to fuck off and leave it alone.
I understand that for sure. And I've had
Ask him, though.
yeah, well, I've asked him. I've had a couple of clients that, no, not saying, I don't know what Calum's addicted to, but obviously he had some sort of addiction issue because his manager came out and said as much, you know, so it was public knowledge through his Instagram page. But I've had a couple of clients that have actually been addicted to meth, and I've seen, like, caught up with one of them trying to help him, which is, you know, one of those things where it's like, you know,
what is meth?
What's that?
What is meth?
What is meth?
Listen, bro, listen, I know you take it, your teeth go all fucking skinny and shit, but
no, it's just the most addictive drug ever created, man. It's cooked, what do you do is it keeps you up for days on end and then you crash, but it just gives you the most obviously I don't know what meth is personally, but it just gives you the most euphoric high. I'm sure it just numbs you out completely. But the thing is, it's the most addictive thing you can ever do. They say, you know, there's people that say once you take it, like your first time taking meth, you'll never feel anything like that again in your life.
I was about to say the exact same thing, but I've heard
what they're doing is they're trying to chase that. They want to feel that feeling again. So they continue to do it and get addicted because they want to feel that, but it's just downhill from there, you know?
I know one lad, obviously in England, we don't have it, right? And one guy was saying, like, I was at Wembley with him, you know, he'll watch this, no, he said to me, when he was in Australia, there's one guy said it was, he thought it was cocaine, so he had a sniff, and he said, like, he was up for like fucking 4 days. He said, and the best part of his life, he said, but I'd never take it again. It's like, I come back and I was fucked. I said, would you do it again? He's like, no, I don't know. I was just wondering what the fuck it is.
Well, do I have 4 days to spare?
Yeah. And it sounds like one of those things as well where people don't think they'll get addicted. If they have a strong mindset or whatever, they're like, oh, I won't get addicted. Everyone else does, but I won't. And that's what someone, like the guy, former client of mine, that said to me, he said, man, you can't explain the feeling. He said, and you're constantly chasing that. He said, everything else in life seems super boring, super vanilla after you've done that, at least, you know, in the short term, and you just want to get back to that spot. You know what I mean? You want to get back to that.
Anyway, he's a bodybuilder, right? He's a fitness addict. Having an addictive personality anyway, you know? Exactly. It was like, you know, whether it's hormones or body dysmorphia, it's an addictive personality. So I could see why people get on it, you know what I mean? I was just curious what it was.
Yeah,
Ever tried it?
It's an amphetamine, guys. So like, it's just like any other amphetamine. If you've ever taken Adderall, it's the same thing. It's just times 10. So like,
no, can't agree.
1000%, dude. I went to pharmacy school.
My friend said, listen, he snorted
coke. Listen, I know. Like, I'll tell you exactly how it is. It's how strong it binds to the receptor. So like Adderall binds to the receptor, say at like 20% affinity. Methamphetamine binds to the receptor at 100% affinity. What it does is it opens your gateways up and it dumps as much dopamine as you possibly can. So like when you take Adderall, it dumps in, say, 20% of your dopamine. It locks it in the channel of your synaptic gaps, and dopamine bounces around in there, makes you feel good. When you take methamphetamine,
too scientific now, brother. This is bodybuilding. Too scientific.
when you take methamphetamine, it dumps all of your dopamine as the biggest rush you've ever had in your entire life. Like, you're not going to get it from skydiving. You're not going to get it from any of those things.
Just like ketamine then.
Yeah, so it binds to the infinity as much as it can. It gives you as much dopamine as you can. Your body will never be able to get back to that point of a dopamine drop again. So the next time you take meth, even if you waited and came completely off of it, weren't addicted to it, the next time you take meth, the dopamine drop is going to be 99% of what it was the first time. And you're going to recognize that.
If you do the same amount, right?
Right. So they're always chasing that until either you overdose, like you said, because you do more than you're supposed to.
Oh, and the fucking drug dealer, right?
Well, yeah, bro.
That's what pharmacists are. They're drug dealers.
I spent 2.5 years in school being taught how to be a legal fucking drug dealer, man. I'm truly, honestly, pharmacy school was fucking sick until it got out of that point. When I stopped learning about drugs and started learning about how I had to do insurance claims and deal with old fucking ladies, that's when I said, fuck pharmacy. Until then, I was like, this is sick. I love learning about drugs and legal drugs and how to use drugs and cross interactions and shit. I was like,
making fucking crystal meth, mate.
I would be in the back.
Dude.
I'd be in the back of the classroom, like, so I heard pro bodybuilders use insulin and growth hormone together to cause an IGF effect. And my teacher would be like, Martin, come see me after class. God damn it.
Get off bodybuilding.com. So Nathan, it's like taking a shit ton of test suspension, 100 milligrams of Halo, and a gram of Tren Ace before you go work out.
I wouldn't mind that. Just have 2 grams of fucking ketamine, bro. I'm good to go.
Yep. No, that numbs you out, man. You put you in a hole.
It's funny. I was talking to one guy once, and he said, I was talking about something. I was talking about edibles, or I was talking about weed, or something like that. And he said, "Oh, ketamine's my drug." Then I said, "Oh yeah." And he said, "I've literally been to Egypt. I've been to," he said, "all these places around the world." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "When I've taken it, I've gone into like a K-hole and laid down and listened to like meditative stuff." And he said, in his mind, he feels like he's literally been in the pyramids of Egypt. That's what he said to me. He said, I've been there. And I'm just like, okay. Like, sounds like pretty intense.
He's watching this. He's sitting there like this, having a little pot, watching fucking Discovery Channel.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like,
it's on the TV right. It's on the TV right in front of you. What do you mean?
Oh, boys. But let's move on to some questions. We've got a few from the listeners. Nathan, do you have 15 minutes or 10 minutes?
Yeah, go on. It's only 2 a.m. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's get into it. So we'll go to Instagram. The first one is from Dave Hardy, bodybuilder. He says, Martin and Brett, does most of your income come from coaching or from sponsorship? So Martin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'd probably say 50-50, honestly. It probably was a little bit more when I was with a supplement company, but with me not being with a supplement company right now, it's probably 50-50. I do very well with gas, especially with my commission. And then I have probably about 25-30 clients, 15 of which are lifestyle and the others of which are competitors. And I could probably step that up, but I just don't know if I could give the people the amount of time that I want, as well as focus on myself as much as I want to.
Yeah, and at a certain point, I guess, like if you're taking more time away from recovery aspects you could do with bodybuilding or something like that, you know what I mean? If you're time limited, then, you know, it might be worthwhile just, you know, keeping your client base at what it's at now. But Brett, what about you?
More so sponsorships now, you know, spent more so in the last year and stuff. I just coached, you know, like Martin said, 20, 25 guys, somewhere around there. So with the move down here, I do want to take on more. That was kind of the goal with that, because I won't be being as active in the gym and stuff. So I want to keep building that up, because I do enjoy that, especially here now in Florida. I'm at home most of the day, so I do a lot of online work. So if you're looking for coaching, hit me up, DM me. I'm going to take on a few here coming up. But right now, yeah, especially the whole goal, I think, as a bodybuilder is to get to the point where sponsorships, you know, pays for your bodybuilding. That was always my goal. And it's, you know, it's very reassuring, and you know, security wise, you know, having that blanket so you can go all in, you know. So I'm glad, you know, we've all are getting to that point now. I know obviously Nathan has been there, Martin's getting there, And so that's when people start flourishing, where you can go 100% all in. So that's where that's what always the goal has been.
Yeah. Nathan, do you coach at all?
Bro, IRS are watching, or the taxman. No, bro. No, I'm not that stupid to put that down. But if you want to become part of the team, probably hit my link in my bio.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I do some coaching. No, I got a few guys, probably 20 or so, 30, but I only take on a selected few. People who aren't gonna fucking be on my phone 24/7 texting me because they've had a fucking, a food teller or some bullshit like this. Or I just fuck them off. I'd rather do lifestyles, to be honest. Bodybuilders fucking do my fucking head in.
Yeah, less drama.
Lifestyles just easier. People just get the diet and get on with it. Bodybuilders want you to fucking put it down to the minimalist thing, and they want to text you, oh, I got up 25 minutes early, should do my cardio earlier. I had this fruit teller, should I do 8 minutes extra cardio? And the cop was like, it's too much awesome around for me. But I've got like eight guys who are coaching now who are competing in the next 2 weeks. And obviously I'll be coaching Lisa across IFBB for the Wings of Strength as well. So getting here and now. Yeah, doing a few little bits and bobs.
Yeah, sweet. Very nice. Next question is from Dalton.Smith.Bodybuilding on Instagram. Says, have any of you battled with self-doubt in regards to bodybuilding in the past, whether it be competing, an aspect of training, or anything like that? Martin, do you want to go first?
I mean, I think all three of us are pretty confident guys. I'm sure we've all had moments. I can't really think of a specific time or place. Last year was tough on me, not doing as well as I wanted to. But realistically, when I sat back and looked at things, I got completely what I deserved. So can't be mad about what you deserve, So at the end of the day, bodybuilding is very much that. I think it's you get what you put into it. There's not a lot of robbery that goes on in this that people want to say that happens. So at the end of the day, man, just put my nose down, and if I want something, I'll go get it.
Yeah. Brett?
Yeah, of course, there's going to be, I think there's always going to be some instance of self-doubt or at least questioning yourself. I think that's part of the bigger picture, and preparing for a bodybuilding show is being able to mentally overcome everything that comes with it. So, that's part of the battle. And there might be a short instance where you're questioning yourself. Do I look good? I look like shit today. Everybody does it, that even if Nathan's going to say next that he does it, I know deep down he does every once in a while. So it's just like, it's how you respond off that though. How do you, work with your team or work with yourself on, shut the fuck up, get to work, if you have a problem with how you look, to make yourself look better and go handle it, So it's more so there's always going to be those things, but I think it's more about how the response, obviously, I'll be real, after the Arnold, I was down a little bit because I thought I could, I knew I could be better. So there was some doubt there, like, man, but it's like, okay, now it's my time to show that. It's my time to respond. It's my time to put the work in, and that's what we're doing. So that's all you can do, or you're just going to continue to disappear if you don't.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about the Arnold as well, because a lot of fans, they're very sort of fickle. They're saying you're going to win the Arnold, and then next minute they're saying that you're done. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, you're never going to be this place or whatever. And that's got to mess with your head at least a little bit. I mean, I know it would for me if I was in your same situation, because obviously it's, as an amateur, you even feel it a tiny bit as well, because you'll hear some people, this person said this to your mate and this person said this, and then someone commented online and blah, blah, blah. But as a pro, you almost can't avoid it, because you're going to get comments on YouTube videos. You're going to have people you're going to have friends sending you messages saying, look at what this dude said. Look what this guy said in this YouTube video. Look at what someone said on Instagram, and just literally sending it to you. So you can't avoid it. So as a pro, I imagine that's amplified, 100 times compared to what it's like as an amateur, and feeling any pressure on that sort of stage, and feeling, I suppose, that sort of self-doubt. So straight after the Arnold, I mean, how long did it take you to sort of, I suppose, conceptualize all of it and then go, okay, no, I am still on the right track. I just missed my peak, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, there's a few days of, you got to analyze things, go over everything in your head. So there are going to be a few days, but it's, like you said, it was my second open show, so it's like, I know there's so much more ahead. So it was just more, I got to improve. I know where I need to improve, and it's just getting back to work. So, I would just say if, a week or two time of just soaking it in, and then it's back, back to the drawing board. I think it's more so, it was the internet hype. It wasn't me out, talking shit or anything like that. It's just people want, that's what the internet created. And I didn't perform as well as they wanted, but it's not saying I'm a bad bodybuilder or anything. It's just, that's how the internet is. I've learned that it's whatever's the hot next thing or whatever, then you're on your way out. But guess what? There's going to be more shows. You're always going to be as good as your last showing. That's what I've learned. People count people out so fast, and it's incredible. I'd be interested to see back in the day, when Jay lost the 2008 Olympia, and I didn't follow bodybuilding there, but at that time, was it just like, hey, Jay's done forever, he's nobody now after he just lost, and then he came back the next year and proved all the hate wrong. So that's how bodybuilding is. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of negativity going just off your placing for that first time. But that's when, I think the real winners separate themselves, is how they respond off that.
Yeah. And I was following bodybuilding back when Jay lost the Olympia. I was actually, Jay came out to Australia the year that he beat Victor Martinez, but a lot of people were saying that he shouldn't have. So I saw Jay probably a week and a half, 2 weeks after that. And you could tell that he actually even said recently that was his hardest Mr. Olympia. After that was his hardest year because of, what is happening in his personal life, but also because everyone was saying he shouldn't have won. And it was almost like that was sort of a talk around everything. And he hated that. I don't think he even enjoyed that Olympia win, except for maybe right at the time. So when he did come out to Australia, and at the time, the whole talk was Jay's done. Like prior to the Olympia, everyone's like, and then he changed his hair and showed up at you saw all the pre-contest photos, not of his physique, but just of him in a jacket and stuff like that. And it was all over Get Big, it was all over these forums back then, because it wasn't, social media wasn't such a big thing. And everyone was saying he's done, he's going to go down to 6th. He's, because he, beat Victor Martinez when people said he shouldn't have. Then, then he lost, and then everyone was saying, he's on a downward spiral. And then he came back at just about his best, or close, or maybe at his best ever. So, Nathan, have you felt any doubt throughout your career? Do you feel it still? Anything like that?
I think for me, the only time I felt doubt probably when I done my arm, but then I would still look back and I reflect on it, and I look back at things and think, it is what it's meant to be. And when then people look at life the way it is what it is. You know what I mean? You make your own path and shit, and you get out of it yourself. So I was a little bit self-doubt in that aspect. Yeah, I did. But in regards to bodybuilding, even when I've been beat, no. Oh, it is what it is. I laugh about it. Guys can see last time I got beat in my last show. I was on the piss straight away. Got over it. Didn't give a fuck about it. I just got over it. Got pissed. And just partied. It's just like Brett said, you're only as good as your last show. So it is what it is. I deal with it, take it on the chin, and walk on with it, because no point being down about things. At the end of the day, you have to get over it anyway eventually. So just get over it there and then save that. Why waste 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks on being down something? That's 2 to 5 weeks in life you won't get back. Yeah,
no, exactly. And look, I'm someone who has, had self-doubt in certain things in life, and not necessarily to do with just competing and stuff. I feel like I've actually got less self-doubt there. Like if I'm prepping for a show, I pretty much know that I know how to get in condition, and I bet I will be in good condition. It's like I know what to do. I know how my body responds. I've got a fast metabolism. So I know it's almost like that's a given and that's done. But things like just say business or doing, I even had people say, when I started this podcast with you guys, people were like, how are you getting him on? Are you paying him? How much are you paying him? And all that sort of stuff, because, I'm not a name like a Fouad Abiad or some of these other ones as well. And then when people say that sort of stuff, you go, oh wait, am I worthy of this? Are these guys, doing this as a charity and stuff?
Make sure they start getting more views in. Subscribe, click that bell button. Get us some fucking money.
Yeah. And that's obviously what we want to get to, and we're going to do that eventually anyway. It's a matter of just being consistent. But you have those little things that come up and you go, shit, people are saying this, is that the reality of it? Because it's very hard to introspectively look back and look at yourself and go, okay, this is the reality, because no one really knows exactly how they're perceived to other people. They can only base it off reactions and stuff. So I'm someone who will doubt things sometimes until someone literally goes like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're doing well, or whatever, and you go, oh, okay, reality check sort of thing. So do you guys suffer with any of that sort of outside of bodybuilding as well?
Go on, Brett.
I mean, I think that's life, man. You know, you're always going to go through different things, be down on things, but once you're rolling, bro, just you get your confidence up. You know, you've done a great job over the years. You know, you just need what you've learned, especially if we're going to talk about this YouTube stuff, is, you know, it's just the consistency and pumping out the content and, you know, not being biased. And you've done a good job of that. And so people recognize that. Maybe you're a little hard on yourself because you're not getting 100,000 views yet, but that's just time. You know, you can continue to grow things. I think that applies to everything in life, is if you give it your all and you stay true to yourself and give it time, shit's going to come together.
Yeah. And people might be wondering as well why there's been an uptick in content, I guess, lately. It's partly because of you guys, obviously, but also because now my living situation, I get some help with the kids. So I've got, you know, people don't know, I've got a 1 and a 2-year-old. So they take up a fair bit of time, as you know, Nathan, having 2 little kids, they're pretty hectic. Even just this morning, like I had them out like eating breakfast. I'm like, get breakfast in here because it's too close to the office. And you sort of got these other little challenges, but in a way as well, they sort of, Nathan, do you find like motivation from your kids as well to do well business wise and all that sort of stuff? Because that's definitely a motivating factor for me, not to sit on my ass and do nothing.
I don't want my kids to fucking, you know, have the upbringing I had. I want to be better, you know. Mine wasn't the best, but everyone knows a story. So I want my kids to have the best possible upbringing they can have and have access to everything in life. You know, unfortunately, you know, money makes money. You know, people say, oh, it's not about money. And fucking sadly it is. You know, you have to have it to be in there. People with money only mix people in with money. You know, those who aren't, then those are the ones who are left behind. So, you know, obviously want to teach my kids business sense and, you know, the power of the pound or the dollar, you know, and they've got to work for it and things only easy to get. But at the same time, I want to give them things that like I said before, I've never had. So to me, that's a huge incentive. Just keep pushing forward and, you know, my businesses, what we're doing, because for me, a lot of my businesses is outside bodybuilding. I don't want to go down the avenue of when I retire in a couple of years. I don't want to be on the fitness scene no more. I don't want to be around, you know, the shows and be a has-been. No disrespect to those guys of the old generation. I just don't want to do that. So all my effort, all my money, I put into businesses that I know I can succeed in, because to succeed in this business, bro, you need millions and millions and millions. But to succeed in business outside of bodybuilding, you don't. You know, bricks and mortar, businesses, things I know that I'm good at. And that's what I invest all my time in. That's what I show my kids on, you know, rather than the fitness. For me, this is just a small part of my life to get me to get from A to B. And right now it's doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Now we've got we'll just do one more question because we've been going on for a while now. This one's from Matt Norman on Instagram. He said, if you could no longer bodybuild for a living, what would you redirect your focus to? So that's sort of, I'll start with you, Nathan, there, because you almost sort of said that you want to do businesses outside of that. But what would you be doing, I suppose, now if you never got into bodybuilding?
Probably hustling, bro. It was hustling. Just being on the street corner like everyone else. You know, but a hierarchy. For me, my goal it wasn't doing bodybuilding. You know, when I obviously the way I look at things now, the way I look at things in life. For me, when I was younger, I just wanted to be, you know, sounds bad, but the baddest drug dealer there was.
Really?
Yeah, bro. For me, if I reached 25 when I was a kid, I was good. You know, of the pack of my friends, what were in, fucking most are dead or in jail doing 25 years, 28 years. You know, there's fucking only a couple of us who were out. You know, for me, when I was younger, that's what I wanted to do, and that's the road I would have been down if it didn't find bodybuilding. And I'm cool with that. I accept that. I'm not proud to say it, but that's what I wanted. Them guys were my idols when I was younger. I looked up to them drug dealers. They had the Rolexes, the Bentleys, the blonde girls, the prostitutes, the lap dancers. They had all that. You know what I mean? That's what I look forward to. But we're doing bodybuilding. Now my outlook's different. So if it wasn't that, I would have been like probably more or less back on a building site. And like what I know of bricks and mortar, I know that being a tradesman, you can go around the world. You can do whatever you want. So you can see things. And as long as you've got your hands that are working and your tool bag, that's the best thing. So for me, now reflecting back on life, if someone would have told me when I was younger I'd say pick up a tool, pick up a trade. Just do that, because you get to travel the world like us guys, and you can do whatever you, as long as you, like I said before, as long as you got your hands, you can do whatever you want. So after bodybuilding, I'm gonna go back onto, you know, probably the tools and stuff, and just keep investing my money into there what I know I'm good at.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be good in that environment too, Nathan. Like, I know, like in Australia, I don't know what you guys call them over there, but we call like people that are builders, all that sort of stuff, that do a trade. We call them like tradies.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
we like in Australia, you've got sort of like like when you speak to a tradie, you almost know they're a tradie because they'll talk a certain way, they'll be whistling at the girls, like all that sort of stuff. Pretty much, you know, it's like very, very. They speak very Aussie as well over here. So if you're a tradie, you go, yeah, mate, you know, like, don't know, like it's just the way you're talking, it's the vibe, you know. And I feel like
just common, then, isn't it? Just common.
They have a lot of banter, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't call it banter, we'd call it whatever, taking the piss, whatever. But we have a lot of that sort of stuff, and I feel like that's your MO, man. Like you're a guy that's like real good with the banter and talking to the boys and all that sort of stuff. So that would definitely suit you. But Brett, what would you be doing if you never got into bodybuilding?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'd still be involved in sports. I'd definitely be a coach, most likely a football coach of some sort. You know, that's
you strike me as that.
Yeah, my number one love was always football. I played college football, and you know, I was even looking at going to grad school afterwards just for GA and coaching. Cool. And then I kind of started my own bodybuilding from there. But you know, I've always enjoyed competitive sports. That's why I bodybuild to today. Is because of the competition aspect and now personal competition, but I would still be involved in, you know, coaching younger generations coming up as well.
Yeah. Martin, what will you be doing?
You know,
making drugs.
Pharmacy shit.
Yeah.
You're making more drugs to sell, Nathan.
Send them over to me. Sell them, Nathan.
No, but mine would be so different, man, because completely different than these two guys is bodybuilding has been something that's been a part of my life since like really I can remember. So, you know, I started training when I was 10, really started lifting weights at 12. And by 14, I was lifting 5-6 days a week and eating 6 meals a day. So this has been a huge part of my life for so long. It would be a huge change for me, but same as Brett, I really got into bodybuilding because of sports. And that's how I realistically started lifting weights, just because I wanted to be better at football and wrestling. And it transitioned into that. I was a Division I athlete and did track in Division I. And that would have paved my way for me to end up being either a physical therapist or a pharmacist. And I probably would have just ended up finishing pharmacy school and either going back to school for organic chemistry so that I could develop drugs and be more of like a lab person versus working as a true pharmacist, like in a Walgreens, what you guys know as a pharmacist. That's probably what I would have ended up doing if I finished that path, or I would have went for more physical therapy, PT stuff, and gone like the dry needling, and probably hopefully worked with people of my caliber, whether it was pro football players, pro hockey players. I would have wanted to do something like that where I'm improving the athlete's ability, his life, you know, everything to make them the best that they could possibly be, so that really I would feel like part of the journey. Because like Brett said, I don't really know life without like competitive athleticness in my life. And I don't know as if I really want to know it. Yeah. So it would definitely be something along those lines.
You mentioned it as well, like, so you could be part of like their journey as well. And it's almost like a coaching thing, because I've coached people to comps, and, you know, when they win, you're almost happier for them than you are for yourself. So being part of a journey, even if you're not in like a sport necessarily or playing actively like a very high level competitive sport, if you are coaching someone or helping someone that's doing it, it makes you feel like you're almost doing it yourself. You're living vicariously through them. So I think that, you know, when I ever decide not to compete ever again, it's like I definitely want to have some sort of a part in it. And to doing this podcast and having you guys, knowing that you guys are competing, you know, obviously Martin, you're competing really soon, Brett, you're competing end of the year, and Nathan, you're doing the Olympia. that's like, I'm like going to be supporting you guys like crazy. And like when you guys are on stage, I'm probably going to be nervous for you guys. You know, like I talked to Brandon Curry before the last few Olympias, and we texted a lot around the Olympias and, you know, after prejudging and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, bro, get to bed. Like, you know, and I'm like, so watching him hours later on the webcast, I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh, he's going to beat Rami. And then I'm like, oh, maybe not, you know? So it makes me feel like I'm in it. And it's actually quite funny because I've got almost the perspective as well. Like, you know, obviously knowing you guys, talking to Brandon, talking to all these other pros, I understand why you guys, I suppose it feels normalized to be the size you are in a way, because it's almost like now I see physiques that are good amateurs and I'm going, you know, he's average or whatever. And it sort of changes your perspective of what a good bodybuilder actually is. Because if you're an amateur, if you're a natural guy, or even if you're just a sort of middle of a range amateur that's working your ass off, like some of them do genuinely train really hard and take stuff and whatever, and they just don't have that genetic potential to be able to get anywhere near the level of you guys. They're looking at guys that are top amateurs or pros, and they're like, you guys are like gods. But to each other, you obviously don't seem like that to each other as well. So yeah, I feel like feeling part of it and everything like that is probably the way to go, especially retiring as well. But Nathan, would you coach anyone when you're retired, or like you said, you want to get out of it? Would you just leave it completely?
Fuck no. Nah, bro, fuck that. When I'm retired, my time's my own. You know, I just fucking, I don't know. I'd rather just, for me, just want to walk away and just, that's it. You know, I'll go to a few local shows, probably pop to the Olympia every so often, but I don't want to be. When you say like the old men who hop around the shows and go, oh, in my time, I'd hate to be one of them people. Hate it. And like even like some of the guys now, oh, you know, the golden era of bodybuilding. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I just don't want to be one of them old guys who people look at and be like, he's still hovering around here. He's had his time. He's clinching onto fame. If I ain't coaching no one, then what's the point being around it? I'd rather spend my time with my kids, my family. Do you know what I mean? For me anyway, that's what I'd do. I'll watch it from afar and stuff, and you know, if people ask me if they come to any of my gyms and that's what a bit of advice I'd give them, but I wouldn't pursue coaching as a career or as a job now.
Yeah, for sure. Now we'll probably wrap up the episode there because Nathan, it's like 2:15, 17 past 2 in the morning where you are. So
yeah, fuck that early.
So thank you so much for doing it, Nathan, as well. Do you guys have any final?
Martin's about to fall asleep too.
Yeah, I feel like Martin's got progressively more stoned as the episode's gone on.
I'm just tired, man. I'm ready for some protein veg, I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you just do some edibles or something?
Yeah, I'm on that tiny diet for the day. I got 25 carbs today with legs, so I'm definitely feeling the day goes on. So
yeah, Brandon.
But I want to touch on that a little bit actually from what Nathan said about like some of these guys. Like it is cool in the opposite direction of having somebody give back as much as Branch has given back to me in a cool. I got a video coming out on my YouTube, and we got to ask him some questions and stuff, and one of the things he said was like it took a long time for him to find somebody that he was willing to give his time to. So like Nathan said, you know, maybe somebody out there will twist his arm one of these days and he's going to see himself in him or something and see this drug dealing kid that could be a good bodybuilder, save himself or something, you know, and that will be the turning point where he'll really enjoy it and want to give back. But it has been really cool, man. Like I can tell some days when I pose and shit, like he gets so excited. You can see him like he's living it again and he loves it. And like, he's so excited for me, man. Like he's pulled me aside a couple times and been like, you're going to do this, man. Like, this is your time. So it's cool, man. And I think all of us would kill for that opportunity eventually because we would all give back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like the way, like you said, like Branch and Jay Cutler, like I really admire those guys because they've got money, you know what I mean? Branch is doing well financially. Jay Cutler's done and is doing very well financially as well. They don't need to be around bodybuilding. It's literally just almost like a passion thing at this point. And yeah, Jay Cutler makes some money through bodybuilding. Maybe Branch does as well, but I don't think they don't need bodybuilding. They don't need the fitness industry whatsoever. And it's cool that they're staying in it in that way and then giving back, and not so much just trying to just constantly sell to us. You know what I mean? Which is cool.
You never hear Branch and Jay say like, "Oh, back in my day, and bodybuilding was so much better and shit." Those guys are saying like, we got to keep bodybuilding fucking badass, and you guys are doing an awesome job, and they help promote us and make bodybuilding great. So we definitely need to praise guys that are doing that.
For sure, 100%. But anyway, I'm glad we've got a name for the show, Bodybuilding University. I don't know if you guys saw those logos I sent through as well, but we'll make some t-shirts up and I'll get them sent out to you guys, all that sort of stuff. And then we can start pushing this show a little bit more now. It's actually finally got a fucking name. But anyway, guys, make sure you check out all these guys' social medias and their YouTube channels. I'll put the links in the description below. And yeah, just make sure you go there and support them, subscribe to their channels and all that good stuff. And obviously subscribe here if you haven't subscribed yet as well. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills, Brett Wilkin, Martin Fitzwater, and leaving Nathan De Asha to last, just because of where the screen is, not because of race. We are out.